Hey, Crystalline21 here. I'm back talking about Infernities because I figured I didn't really have to wait for a lot of it. A lot of the stuff that I wanted to be able to talk about, what I want to talk about right now. What I want to talk about right now are a few cards that people may think, oh, this is Infernities. This is what it does. This is what you have to do. And that is Mirage 100 Eyes. Now, for those of you that have played Infernities for a little bit, you probably know about Mirage, 100 Eyes Loop, getting all your barriers, stuff like that out. But I do want to say this much. Don't run the Mirage Loop. Don't run it. It is the old way to running it. It can be easily stopped. They effectively, your 100 Eyes, you were dead in the water. Because you just wasted your synchro on 100 Eyes. Yes, it's 3,000 attack. Yes, it's an okay monster. But what happens next when you don't have an Infernty monster on the field? You have like two barriers, you have one break, no cards in hand, you can't use your barriers, you can only use your break. They go Dark Hole or Torrential Tribute, and you lose your 100 Eyes. Then they get a look at what you have in your deck because of 100 Eyes effect. Is it by battle or just when it's sent to the grave? When it's sent to the grave. When this card is destroyed and sent to the grave. So, do not run Mirage 100 Eyes Loop. Now, running Mirage in 100 Eyes is okay. As long as you're not looping, as long as you're only using it to get the +1, not the +5. Because I'm pretty sure most people know Mirage, 100 Eyes, use 100 Eyes, search for launcher, sync, or then just do a bunch of other shenanigans with Leviair and a bunch of other shit to get your Mirage back and just keep going and going and going and going as long as you have your 100 Eyes in your extra deck. And if you run 3, you can turn one Mirage into 5, you can turn one Mirage into 5, or into 4, or into 3, or however you want to look at it. Actually, you probably could only turn into 4. You'd be very lucky, and you'd have to have something be able to turn into a 5. You'd be very lucky. If you're running 2, you could probably turn into a 5 easily. But Mirage is an okay card. Effect failure on either of these cards will kill you. Honestly, if they do this, yes, you can still use your barriers, but unless you're gonna use the break to protect this card, they're gonna kill it because it has 0 attack and 0 defense, no matter what you do. But who knows? They just might let you get this out. That way that's banished. I mean, honestly, or that wouldn't be banished. That would just be in the graveyard, and unless you sync for another one, which then you'd be wasting it. Actually, just wait till last turn, then you use it. But they're still putting you off for a turn. And if they Dark Hole, Torrential Tribute, or do anything like that, you're fucked. Because you didn't go for your Doom Dragon so you can negate, or your Void Ogre so you can negate, or a Scrap Dragon so you can pop. Not pulp, pop. Now, Mirage, yes, it's an okay card. You can do crazy plays with it. I wouldn't run it at 2. Why? Because it's a dead card a lot of times when you get it first turn. First turn, unless you have an Inferno, it's a dead card. And Inferno, you don't want to be running Inferno at 3 because you run 2 Mirage. You want to be running Inferno at 1 or 2 because you want the chance of getting it, not because that's the only thing your deck does. You kind of get the point. If we go back to the age where this is all our deck does, your deck will be very easily to predict, and you won't be able to do too much else. I mean, then you're also going to have to wait and rely on searching and doing all this stuff. You're not going to be able to just blow out some monsters and do a bunch of other stuff with strategy and how other cards that you own work. Like, when Lava Chain is actually released, people will probably switch into the Monk build, which I don't mind the Monk build because it doesn't do the Mirage loop, and it's kind of there's a lot more you can do with it than just I'll set these, make sure I have a spell card, summon Monk, discard, special summon, search launcher, seed into Lava Chain, detach Lava Chain to use effect, send Mirage, or send Necromancer, then do something else, like maybe a call all or something to get the search, and maybe you'll just use that. It doesn't really matter. Just because there's more options you can do. I mean, if you're doing this, you're not relying on Paradise. You may be relying on this, but you have so many different options. You have this, you have Utopia. There's so many options for ranks, and you can just do so much stuff. Where if you're still focusing on 100 eyes, you're losing out on all the new potential this deck has thanks to the new XYZs, all the new stuff we have. I mean, this card's broken. Why won't you bring this out instead of your 100 eyes? I mean, 3,000 defense and +1 negate. Yes, you're not going to be able to banish your Mirage to get any effect. So what? You get this, and you should already have your launcher, so therefore you can bring back and bring out, I don't know, maybe a Doom Dragon, a Scrap Dragon, Dark Eden if you're still running it. Just, there are better options. Like me, I will bring this out in a, like if I'm playing my friends, because I know they don't have effect failures. I mean, they may have Venus Chain, Bottomless Trap Hole, but nothing that I can't stop or get around. But if I'm playing in a tournament, this will be one of my last options. I would save this so that I myself have at least one resource left. That if I need to, I can go into 100 eyes, get the search, then go into another 8 and go, okay, I still have some support left. I'm not using all my resources right now. And that's what you're doing with the 100 eyes. You're just looping them, trying to OTK them. And that's not what Infernty can do anymore, because there's so much stuff to stop us. I mean, especially with Matsy. I mean, yeah, I don't fear for Matsy at all, but a lot of people will like, oh, what do I do? Then they'll just stop. I mean, I'll just push through and be like, okay, if you drop a Gores, I can stop it. If you drop a Tragodia, I can stop it. I'll just make sure I attack with my Void Ogre first. Then, if you do drop it, I will pop it with Doom Dragon. Then it's like, okay, you waited till I attacked with Doom Dragon. Okay, so you took 6,000 damage. I have a break set, so next turn I'll banish my launcher and destroy your drag. So, good luck trying to play your hand traps like drag and Gores against me. Yeah, that's how it works. Now, I just want to drill into people's head that 2 Mirage in a deck, 2 Mirage will clog your hand so bad. Draw only 1 Mirage first turn with no Inferno, and I do run 1 Inferno. I run 1 Inferno because, 1, I don't mind the card. It's not the best card because, yes, it's set up the grave, but if I rely on Inferno and they know that, and they have something like they have something to negate it, especially if I'm facing into Samurai, they have Xian, they negate it. What am I going to do? That's why I just rely on, I don't know. Let's see here. I have 1 Front Edition from my hand, Dark Gruffer. What else? Foolish Burial, Armageddon Knight, and now, also, Lava Chain. Let's see. All these right here, well, these 2 will thin out my hand and my deck. And if you want to get into deck thinning, yes, you have Inferno for that. But if you really wanted to get into deck thinning, there's your reinforcement of the army. Your freaking Archfiends. Alright, so let's look at it. Search for deck thinning. Deck thinning. Deck thinning and setup. Deck thinning setup. Deck thinning setup. Hand and deck thinning plus setup. And OTK, what now? I mean, then you got this. I mean, all these cards right here are in there to help. Why do you need an extra Inferno? I mean, I would much rather have a Foolish Burial than an Inferno. Why? Because I don't really have that many spell cards I could, or anything that I would really be willing. I've seen people activate Inferno, send an Armageddon Knight to the grave. And I'm just thinking, you never send an Armageddon Knight. I mean, that's a free Foolish Burial with a summon. And you're willing to send it to the grave to get 2? When you could have saved it and gotten 3? Or just, it's just so many bad plays that people do with Inferno. I mean, when you're using Inferno, it makes you feel like, oh, I need to use it. But when, I mean, I don't need to use it. I mean, a lot of times I don't get it till late game, and late game I don't need it. It's just there. I'll just set it, pop it with Scrap Dragon. That's most of the time what I do with it. I just, alright, I'll search it, pop it with Scrap Dragon, destroy your monster, and attack for game. What now? I mean, I've taken on 3 people with 8,000 life points with Infernties and killed them all. Because I knew what I was doing. I played conservatively. I can't say it. Forget it. You know what I'm trying to say. And I didn't rely on Mirage. I used Mirage once. Then I banished, got the search for the launcher, so I could use it again. So therefore I had 2 synchros on the field. I had my Void Ogre and my Doom Dragon with a barrier and 2 braids. Then later I could go into Scrap Dragon. And anything that I don't need, I can just pop it off my field. I mean, I'd go Leviair, get that back, pop Leviair, and clear my field. There's a lot of plays that you can do with the cards that are out there now. Don't look for the past. Look at the present. Look at what decks are doing now. If you have to, run Summoner Monk to get your mindset off of what the old Infernities did with Mirage and stuff. Because most Summoner Monk builds will only run maybe 1 or none. Because they like the fact that you can go 2 Necromancer, then 2 Archfiend, and go, okay, I'll seed with that, get each Archfiend's effect, set it, get the other Archfiend, set it, then seed for Lava Chain, then a seed for maybe a Leviair or a number 17, and just go from there. I mean, Infernities can spam out the same level of monsters so easily. It's like, you just gotta make sure that you're able to detach it, because you want that level, those levels, you want at least one of those materials in the grave. But that's really it for now. I mean, I just want to drill into your head that Mirage, you don't want to run it too. I mean, it's okay if you do. Just be wary that you're going to be getting your hand a lot. First turn hand. And that's something that you don't really want now. Because of a card like Effect Failure, Torrential Tribute. That's stuff you want to bait out before you use your Mirage. That way you're not wasting a good Mirage. I mean, yes, if you run 2, you may have another one. But late game, they could still have an Effect Failure. They could still have something to stop you, because they know you're running Infernities. So you just want to hold back a little bit, don't OTK them, and just kind of poke them. Poke them, have field control. Then when you have barriers, you have everything you need to stop anything, then you go off and go, okay, I'm gonna kick your ass now because I top deck a Mirage. Bam. Pull out another synchro and go, okay, I have like 2 back row I don't need. I'll go scrap train and pop this one, destroy your monster. I mean, there's just so many different plays that you could do. I mean, all you have to do is have a controlling field, which, with a 3,000 attack monster and a 3,000 attack monster, one that can negate stuff, one that can pop any monster. Why aren't you just bringing these 2 out and controlling the field and just poking them? Dark Hole, negate. Okay, I will set a card, then set a monster. My turn comes. I'll pop your monster. Tap directly. Mirror Force, negate. Now, I mean, yeah, they can still do a bunch of stuff. Like, they'll bait you Dark Hole, then it's like, okay, then I'll activate Heavy Storm. Then you're like, okay, I will activate my barrier because I have an Infernty monster with no hand. There's just a lot of stuff that you need to get the mindset that, okay, let's pull out the old and put in the new. You want to make sure that you get the old mindset of having no hand, but you want to get this new mindset of, I'm not OTKing them. If I try to OTK them, their deck is going to be faster than me. I need to make sure that I have what I need to last the long game because I know that my cards in my deck has more resources than what their deck can manage because they use all their stuff in 1 turn, and if I can stop that 1 turn, then I can go off and just poke them the rest of the duel. I don't mind a 5-10 minute duel. Well, or I don't mind a 20-minute duel. I mean, a 5-10 minute duel, okay. But a lot of times with Infernities, I don't make it till like turn 10 or 12 because either I already won or I already lost because I had nothing. That's just how it goes. Very rarely do I very rarely do I ever get a very long duel. So yeah, this Crystalline 21 piece. Think about what you're doing with Mirage. Don't do Mirage plays. Use them wisely. Effect Veil is a card. Phoenix Chain's a card. There are so many cards out there that will make you wish that you played that smarter. So why don't you just play smarter? Assume they have it, and hold back a little bit to make sure that you will get it off. That's what I do. It's Crystalline 21. Peace.